Hello everyone, and I'm gonna take it to Fun Town today a little bit. I'm gonna talk about my 5 favorite board games. My top 5 favorite board games. Not the best 5 board games, although in my opinion they are the best. They're my favorites. I don't have all of them, so I might have to show a picture or something of the 2 that I don't have. I'll see, I'll figure it out. Anyway, yes, I'm also a board gamer. I don't just play video games. I like any form of gaming. So, here they are. Number 5 is a game that I do not own. It is called Pandemic. I'll try to get a picture somewhere. Pandemic is a fun game because it's a cooperative game where you try to prevent the world from succumbing to disease and dying. So you all play together, 4 people I think it's up to, the original one. I don't know about the expansions and stuff. The original one, you play as 4 people together. Each character has their own special ability, and you have to stop the diseases from spreading in the world. So you got to find the cures to them, and in the process, stop them from spreading. The game is played by flipping. The board is like the enemy, so the board itself, the game is if you flip cards, and then whatever the card says, that's what happens, and then so it's you racing against the deck, kind of thing. Okay, so that's number 5, Pandemic. And the reason it's number 5 is that although it's so great of a game and it's challenging to play it at the hardest difficulty together, once you clear it with the same 4 people, it's kind of like okay. Like, there's no replayability with the same 4 people. Like, if you find different people or whatever, yeah, but anyway. So that's number 5 is Pandemic. Number 4 is, this is the game, Dominion. This is the base core version. There's like there's like a bunch of expansions, not thousands of them, but there's a bunch. And within each game, so within that is like, I should explain, it's a deck building game. So you start off with a few cards, and like the game is you purchasing other cards to build your deck. The goal of the game is Dominion. So you're a lord, I guess, and you're trying to purchase like various levels of land, and the amount of the larger the land, the more they cost, but the more points it gives you. The game ends when certain things run out, certain decks run out or whatnot. Anyway, I'm not going to explain how they play the game. Why is this game fun? Well, there's so many different cards, and you're not supposed to use them all in one game. So it's like you got to pick and choose. So it's like endless possibilities of how the game can go. They give you some suggestions into like the types, but the cards do different things. Like, you can screw over other people, you can earn yourself more money, coins, whatever. You can gain yourself more turns. It's all strategy like that. And you're playing on the probabilities of getting the right cards in the right order. And so the whole thing of the game is purchasing the right cards at the right times. So if you start purchasing the wrong kind of cards too early, that may screw you over. All right. That's number 4 was Dominion. Number 3. Kings of Tokyo. Also with the expansion, but I don't have the expansion. The expansion is called Power Up. Okay? This game is a great gateway game to those who are not very familiar with board games outside of Monopoly. Most people, I find board gamers, there's 2 kinds. There's the ones that play Monopoly, Jenga, Trouble, Sorry, the mainstream games, right? This is the kind of gateway game into like the hardcore hipster kind of games. These games are not any more complicated. Some of them are, but these games are not any more complicated than the ones you see on TV all the time, the mainstream ones, but they're not as promoted. I don't know why. They're great though. So what's so good about King of Tokyo? You play as one of the monsters like Godzilla. Well, not with those names, not with the licensed names, but like the archetype, like Godzilla, King Kong, whatever, Mecha Dragon, etc. And my favorite part of that game is there's 2 ways to win: either destroying all the other monsters, or just gaining a certain amount of points. The cool dynamic is that it's at any given time it's you against everybody, or everybody is against you. So like it swaps. I guess that's the same thing. But so you kind of swap between occupying Tokyo, and at any given time, everybody's against the person or the monster in Tokyo. So it's like constantly switching out because it's like, oh, I'm gonna die soon. I gotta heal, whatever, right? So that's what's the cool dynamic in that. You go from being against everybody to like you're on the team of everybody, and then somebody else is in there. Also, it's functioned on dice rolls, but you get to roll 3 times, and you can keep the dice that you want throughout the rolls, right? You roll once, I want to keep these ones, then you roll the rest, and you get to roll 3 times to determine your actions on your turn. So King of Tokyo is a great gateway game because it's fun, it's easy to learn, it can go quickly. It can go quickly once everyone gets the hang of it. And it's just like the artwork is nice and simple, and you know it's relatable. Monsters. Now, that's number 3. Number 2, Settlers of Catan. The classic. Any hardcore, anybody who's into like the board gaming scene knows Settlers of Catan. I don't own the game personally, but it's a really great game. It's about settling. It's about getting resources, trading, building villages, roads and towns, and then whoever has the most points again wins. I don't remember if it's a race to a certain amount of points or if it ends and then you tally up the points. But either way, it's a really fun game because you got to trade resources, and you're based on where you're situated on the board. You may not have access to all the resources, but you have abundance of other resources, just like economics and countries, right? So it's like, oh, I have extra wool, I'll trade you for whatever, wood. I don't remember the other ones. I'm Russian now. Yeah, so that's number 2. Number 1, my ultimate favorite game. I don't care what anybody says. And it's, okay, so, here, it's pretty heavy. There, Lords of Waterdeep, with its expansion, Scoundrels of Skullport. Look at those babies. Look at the monsters, okay? Fantasy genre, check. It's based on the Dungeons and Dragons universe, but it's not like a it's not like a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's not like a role-playing, like, roll a d20 and see what happens, and you find a it's not like that. It's just the universe of the game. You play as one of the masked lords of Waterdeep, and it's all about influence, gaining resources, sending out like troops to fill out quests for you. The story, whatever, like you can read the story for flavor, but that's not really relevant. You play on the board. The board is Waterdeep, the town, and then you assign your agents, they're called, to do certain things on your turns, and it rotates, right? What's cool is that each person draws a lord card at the beginning of the game, and no one else knows who each other is. Each lord has a certain objective, so they gain more points by doing certain things. The ultimate goal of the game is to get the most points by the last round. So, why is this game fun? There's so many ways to go about it. You can play on intrigue, which is like kind of screwing other people over. You can play on just hoarding resources and finishing a mad amount of quests. But it's also dictated by the fact that what your goal is too. And then with the expansion, it adds another element called corruption. So there's added boards, and there's added elements of you do certain things, but you also take a corruption point. Which means you get a higher outcome in the beginning, but that corruption point at the end will make you lose points. And the goal is to kind of, if you're going to do that, you got to kind of get rid of your corruption points before the game ends too. So it has that more risky, high risk, high reward element. That is my favorite game of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I could play it over and over and over again, especially with the people that really know how to play it because it's so fun. Yeah. So that's my top 5 favorite board games. In order, number 5 is Pandemic, number 4 is Dominion, number 3 is Kings of Tokyo, number 2 is Settlers of Catan, and number 1 is Lords of Waterdeep with the expansion Scoundrels of Skullport. Finito, Bobito. Those are the top 5 of my favorites. What are your favorites? Let me know. I also would like you to please comment, please subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let's keep growing together and have a great day.